Welcome to Your Biz, Your Rules, the podcast for business-minded go-getters hosted by me, your favourite brain and biz coach, Dara Paddy. This is the spot for those of you ready to blend heart and head, woo and do, income and impact, change and chill, and so much more. So grab yourself a cuppa and let's get started. Welcome to episode 219 of Your Biz, Your Rules. In this show, I'm going to be sharing 5 different ways that you can start having more fun with your marketing starting today. Because I really do think that the marketing of your business can be a lighthearted creative outlet rather than a source of stress and overwhelm. Obviously, we know it's important. We know that it's something that really supports you in hitting your sales goals and keeping your business sustainable. But just because it's important doesn't mean that it has to be dry, doesn't mean that it has to be high pressure. So let's dive straight in. My first tip for you is to choose the formats and choose the platforms that you actually enjoy using. And I have a few different reasons for this. The biggest being, if you enjoy the platform or enjoy the format, you're more likely to actually do the thing. You're more likely to actually stick with it. And the most effective type of marketing is the one that you actually do. So if you really like writing, stick with written content. If you love just like going live and spontaneously chit-chatting, do that. If you love speaking to people but don't love being on camera, podcasting is the one for you. If you love Facebook and hate Instagram, spend your time on Facebook. If it's the reverse, do the reverse. Follow what you like to do and don't get bogged down in what is quote unquote effective or what works, because everything works. Everything has the capacity to work. So you might as well enjoy the one that you're doing. And that's not to say that you should adamantly avoid anything that challenges you. So if there is something new that makes you feel uncomfortable and therefore you decide you hate it, know the difference. So I'll use myself as an example. When I first started seeing reels everywhere, I hated them. I hated watching them. I was adamant that I would never do a reel. And I was having a conversation with someone a while back and she just said, well, it's easy, just try it. Like, I bet if you did a reel every day for a month, you would see this change in your business. And I was like, do you know what? I'm trying to die on this hill of hating reels. For what reason? So I thought, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to try making a couple of reels. And what I realized is that I actually really enjoy it. And it shouldn't be that much of a surprise because I've always loved creating Instagram stories. And it's so similar. It's so similar. So there's no logical reason for me to be so anti-reel. But I was resistant. It made me uncomfortable, so I was resistant. So I just didn't even try. I'm not talking about that here. I'm not talking about not even trying the things that push you out of your comfort zone. But I'm talking about trusting yourself once you've tried something to know whether you like it or not and to know whether you want to double down on it or not. My other tip for you is to start collecting pieces of content that you really enjoy. So if you notice a particular type of reel, type of post, type of email that just really jumps out at you, start saving things down, whether you're filing them into a folder or taking screenshots when you see them. Just start collecting the things that you like. And the reason I recommend this is because when you like something, when it just gets that reaction from you, when you lean in and kind of want more, that is very, very telling. And when you have started collecting these bits and pieces, you can start dissecting them. You can start asking yourself, what is it about this email that made me open it? What is it about this post that stopped me from scrolling? What is it about this that grabbed my attention? And when you can start answering these questions, you can start almost reverse engineering how to create that for yourself, how to create that reaction for yourself. And creating things that you like is a game changer, because when you like your own content, you will be so much more confident, you'll be so much more magnetic, you'll be so much more willing to share it far and wide. Because when you're creating something that deep down you don't really like, you don't really want to put it out there. You don't really want to engage with people. You sort of like might close your eyes, post it, and then like close down the tab and run away. And that's not the energy you want to be putting into anything, much less your marketing content. My next tip for you is less tactical and more energetic. Try creating an event around your like planning and creation time, so it doesn't just feel like a slog, it doesn't just feel like effort. So this might look like creating a little creative ritual for yourself. So maybe you put on a particular playlist, you put on a particular kind of incense, and just make the experience of planning your content, or the experience of creating your content, or the experience of scheduling your content just feel more pleasurable. So like just spend a few minutes brainstorming now, like what would make this particular activity feel nicer. Maybe it's having your favorite chocolate bar, maybe it's doing it on the couch, maybe it's doing it in the garden. What would make the process feel more fun for you? And when you've got some ideas there, when you get that nudge, when you journal it out and get some answers for yourself, implement them. My next tip is to use tools and use templates to make it all a bit easier on you. So we often see like image templates floating around. Like you can buy all kinds of graphic templates online, like Canva has so many for free. And we're very comfortable with using those, of just, updating the brand colors, changing the fonts, and making them look more like us. But you can do the same with other types of content. You can do the same with written content, with video content, with podcasts. You can create your own template. And that makes it so much easier for you then to stick with creating this content. So a really great example that I like to use is my weekly newsletter, Warrior Vibes. It's honestly the single thing that gets the most compliments out of any kind of content that I've ever created. And I use a very clear template for that email. Every time I sit down to, create it and schedule it, all I'm doing is filling in these blanks of a structure that already exists. So look at how you can do that for your other types of content too. So maybe if you blog, maybe you create a sort of a general template for how you like to blog. Maybe if it's that you podcast, maybe you have a couple of different podcast types that you could create templates for. Maybe we're just looking at captions here, or Instagram stories. Whatever type of content you've settled on that you enjoy creating, think about how you can make it even easier for yourself. And then my final tip to make your marketing feel fun is to consider batching, so that you don't always have to have it in the back of your mind that you should be creating more. I mean, what if you could think about your content once a month or once every couple of months instead of once or twice a day? That's really where the Batch Like a Bitch system was born. I originally created it because I wanted to teach people how to batch 90 days worth of content ahead of time so that they could take the whole summer off. Like, that was the challenge that I set for our little community during that first round. And even if that's not your goal, if that's not your intention, that is what's possible. So imagine if you could actually have fun creating the kind of content that you enjoy, creating something that's relevant and still sells people into your different offers. And then you could have 3 whole months off, not thinking about marketing, knowing always that you have things going out there to build your presence, to make your sales, to keep you growing your business on autopilot. How amazing would that feel? Your action step for today is to share an Instagram story declaring which of these tips you're going to start implementing from now on. And if you kind of like the sound of all of them, then I would love for you to join us for the next live round of Batch Like a Bitch. I will show you exactly how to not only implement all of the tips we've talked about today, but really install this new model of working in your business. And I can promise you, you will have 0 regrets. The information page is in the show notes, so definitely go check it out if you're interested, and hopefully I will see you there. Next week's show, I'm going to be sharing a handful of time-saving tips for the business obsessed. So if you've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit rushed, or like you're constantly behind, that will be an episode for you. So I will see you back here for that. Thank you for listening to Your Biz, Your Rules. I know that we all like to listen to podcasts, watch videos, read articles or books or posts on Facebook, and not really do anything with that information. So I want to challenge you right now. I want to challenge you to take something from this episode, anything, and use it to spark action. Use it to activate some kind of change in the way you work and the way you live. Do yourself this service today. And tell me all about it on Instagram. Hop over, shoot me a DM, or share an Instagram story showcasing what action you are taking thanks to this episode. And of course, do all of the usual things. Subscribe, leave a review, let me know how much you love the show. And I will be back with you next week.